Hey everyone, and welcome to the third part of the beginner series for Google Agent Development Kit. In the previous video, we looked at how can we create agents with certain tools. For example, we saw Google search. We also saw how to use Python function as a tool. We looked into a tool that could get us the current date and time, as well as a tool that can make an API call. Well, in this particular video, we are going to look at how we can use not only Google Gemini as a model, but also Open AI, and we are going to use GPT-4o and Anthropic models, that is Claude, for example. And how can we create a team of agents that works for us? That's going to be super interesting. If you're ready to get started, smash that like button and let's get into it. So if you have not watched the previous videos, I would highly encourage you to look at both the videos that we have covered so far. And for this particular video, after you have cloned the repository, and you can find the link in the description of this video, you can switch to this particular branch. So just do git checkout and multi-modal, and then you can follow along with me. I'm already on the branch, so we can actually get started. So I'm going to quickly open this into my editor, and just to have a look at what we have so far, I'm going to just open this requirements.txt, and you'll see that we have two different folders right now. We have one which is marketing campaign agent that we covered in the first video. This one we covered in the second video, and for the third one, let's create a folder. I'm going to call it 3-multi-modal, and let's create this as a directory. Then inside here, I'm going to create an agent.py. So let's quickly create agent.py just like this. Now I'm going to copy two files, the env and the init.py. So let's quickly copy those, and we are going to paste it into multimodal. The init.py looks like this. We are just doing from.import agent, so we can export our agent from our files. So the runner, the ADK runner, can actually run that when we go to ADK web. And if you're watching this video, you don't really know what those are, but I'm going to show you in just a bit. But the environment variable right now looks something like this. You can see that we have a Google API key, which is this one. We have the Google Gen AI model. We are using Gemini 2.0 Flash here. And then we are saying to Google or the agent development kit to not use Vertex AI for this whole project. Now, as I mentioned, we are going to be creating a team that uses different models. So we are using Gemini 2.0 Flash, but we are going to use the GPT-4o model from OpenAI, and we are also going to use the Claude 3.5 haiku model from Anthropic or Claude. Now, it is really important that we also have the API keys for both OpenAI and Claude. And you can essentially get your OpenAI key from platform.openai.com. And when you go into settings, you can see that inside API keys, just create a new secret and copy it. I already created one, and you can see the name here ADK, and I've copied it already. But of course, you need a paid subscription to use an OpenAI key. So once you have that, you can copy the key. Similarly, you can go to console.anthropic.com and you can go to the settings, and inside here, you should be able to find API keys. And here you can also create a new key. And as you can see, I already have my key available here. Well, once you have copied both those values, you can go ahead in your environment variable file and you can paste them just like this. So here we have the OpenAI API key, and then we have the Anthropic API key. Make sure that the variable names are exactly these, because you will need them, otherwise it won't work. And that is because these two variables, Anthropic and OpenAI, they are used directly by something called LiteLLM, and I'm going to show you what that is. If you go to the documentation of Agent Development Kit, you can go to this section called models, and here you can see using different models with ADK. This essentially becomes possible for us to work with the Vertex AI that is available obviously by Google as a service, and we also have the option of using something called LiteLLM. And in here you can see that we can install this package called LiteLLM. Then we need to set up these API keys, OpenAI and Anthropic. And once we do so, we can actually create models with LiteLLM, and we can specify which model do we want to use. Now, you already know that we created variables for these models in our env file, so we are going to use directly those. But in short, LiteLLM is something that is open source, allows us to use different models under one platform. And when you're using it in Python in a simple projects, you can just use the package like this. So you can import completion from LiteLLM, just provide the API keys, and the package automatically sort of reads those and then works behind the scenes. But this is not going to be the syntax that we are going to use, since we are using Google's ADK. The syntax is a bit different. Well, with that said, we can actually go to our agent.python file and we can start coding the agent itself. Now, first and foremost, we need to import the OS so we can actually get the environment variables. Secondly, since we are going to use environment variables for the model names, we need to use something called .env, and we already installed the package. If you go to requirements.txt, you can see we have python.env variable here. And that also reminds me that we also need to install the LiteLLM package here as well, which we are going to install in just a bit. But I'm going to quickly save this file, and let's go back to agent.python. And in here, we are going to start working with importing from.env import load_.env. And the first thing that we need to do is to do load.env just like this. Then we can go ahead we are going to import a couple of things. So we are going to say from google.adk.agents import, we're going to use the agent class to essentially create our agents. We're also going to use parallel agent as well. And we are also going to use a sequential agent. So this is going to be a really fun example. Then we need to import from google.adk.models.lite_LLM. And then we are going to import LiteLLM. The second L should be small, so make sure you do it right. Finally, we are also going to use a tool as well. So we can use google.adk.tools import google_search. Let me tell you what we are going to build and how it's going to work. We're going to have the user input and we are going to pass this into a sequential agent. The sequential agent would have three different things. One, the researcher agent. Second, a parallel agent. And third, a posts merger agent. What would happen is that the user input would first go through this researcher agent, which essentially uses a Google tool. Let's actually visualize that as well. So here you can see that the researcher agent essentially uses the Google search. Once it has done its research, it's going to pass it to our parallel agent. This parallel agent will execute two things at once. It's going to go to the LinkedIn post agent to generate a LinkedIn post based on the topic, based on the research that has been already done. And then it's going to go to the Instagram Reels script agent, which will generate a reel script for an Instagram reel. Once both of these agents have done their job, then it will go to a post merger agent, which will combine the output of both those agents and then will send that back as a response to user. So this is not one of those really basic examples that you will find on YouTube. This is actually something that someone can use today to create LinkedIn posts and Instagram posts. And that is my idea of actually creating content that revolves around actual use cases and not just basic examples. Or at least that's what I'm trying to do. So in this particular scenario, we need the sequential agent, we need the parallel agent, and then we have a combination of all of these working together. Now that we have done this, let's actually start by creating those agents or those models. So first of all, we want to have a model for LinkedIn. So here we can say LinkedIn model. And here we're going to start with LiteLLM and it should look something like this. Then we can say that the model that we have is going to be, and here we can say os.environ.get, and the name that we gave to that model was Open AI _model, just like this. Okay. And that's it. So we first create the model and then we also need to create a model for Instagram as well. Now we can say Instagram model here, and then we can say LiteLLM, and here we're going to now use the Claude model. So let's quickly go ahead here and use the Claude model and make sure that the variable names are exactly the same as the environment file. And to practice what I preach, actually, I'm going to quickly look at the env file myself. Okay, I checked it in my env file and it looks good. Let's quickly see what this says at the moment. Here it says LiteLLM is not found. Of course it's not, and it should be LiteLLM. Now we can start creating our agent. So first of all, I'm going to create a researcher agent equals, and we are going to call this simple agent. First of all, we are going to use the model and we are going to use the Google Gen AI model here. So it can also use the Google search as well. So we can say os.environ.get, and the variable name for that is Google_Gen AI_model. We're going to say that the tools is going to use will include Google_search, and this should be tools. Then we can simply give this a description, and the description is going to be a bit different. It's going to say that an agent that researches on the given topic and provides the relevant information to other agents for generating social media posts. This is important. Now we are also going to give the instruction as well, and it looks like this. You are a research assistant. You will be given a topic and you will research on it. Then you will provide a summary of the research. Now let's quickly save this. And one thing that we also have to mention here is the output key. So you need to say output key equals research summary, because the other agents are going to use those. And if we had to visualize the outputs, the researcher agent would output research summary, the Instagram Reel script agent would output the Instagram Reel script, and the LinkedIn one would just say LinkedIn post. We don't really have to have an output key here on the post merger because the output is directly going to be sent as a response. So we don't need one here. So let's go back to the code. I think this agent is essentially ready. Now we're going to go and create our LinkedIn agent. So here we can say LinkedIn agent equals agent. And here we can start by saying model is going to be LinkedIn model, just like this. Then we can say the name is going to be LinkedIn agent, but remember that we don't really have spaces in the name. So here I'm going to say LinkedIn posts agent, and then we have a description, and we can keep it simple, an agent that generates LinkedIn posts, but the instruction is going to be the key. Now the instruction that I'm going to use is a bit heavy, but I want you to go through it briefly. So here you are a LinkedIn post generator. You will be given a topic with research summary from research summary. This is important that we use exactly the key that we have here, research summary. So the Google Agent Development Kit essentially combines those and links together. This essentially becomes becomes a context variable. So you cannot make mistakes here or make typos here. Anyways, here it says, and you will generate a LinkedIn post about it. The post should be professional, engaging. The post should have primary hook, not more than 60 characters. Now, this is something that I try to follow for my LinkedIn post as well, and they perform really good. So feel free to just steal this whole prompt for yourself. And then it says that the post should have a line break after the hook. Then it says the post should have a post hook that is either supporting the hook or completely inverse of the hook to grab attention. Then we say the post should be conversational. There should be bullet points in the post to make it easy to read. There should be actionable items for the readers as well. Then at the end of the post, there should be a question to engage the audience. Finally, ask the audience to share the thoughts in the comments to make it engaging, and then using emojis and using hashtags. So this is really important. Now, finally, we can say that the output key is going to be LinkedIn post. So make sure that it looks exactly like this. Then we go ahead and we work on our Instagram agent. So here we can say Instagram agent, and here we can say agent. And just to make sure that we are using the consistent naming here, so we have LinkedIn agent, research agent, and then the Instagram agent. Makes sense. And here we start with using the model. That's going to be Instagram model here. Then we have the name. For the name, we are going to use Instagram reel script agent, something like this. Then the description can be simple, doesn't really matter. The instruction is really important. So use exactly this instruction. We are saying you are an Instagram reel script generator. You will be given a topic with research summary from exactly the same context variable output. And then we say you will generate a script for Instagram reel about it. The script should be engaging, fast-paced, and relevant to the topic. The script should have a primary hook which grabs the attention of the audience. This is super important. We can also say that the script should have a call to action at the end. And now our instruction is ready. Now we can say that the output key would be Instagram reel script. Nice. Now if we go to our diagram back, you can see that we have a researcher agent. We have these two agents, but these two are part of a parallel agent. So we are going to now create this parallel agent. And if you go to the documentation of parallel agents on Google ADK, you can see exactly the same thing, that when there comes an input to these parallel agents, they essentially work together or at the same time. And then once they have resolved their output, or once they have their output ready, then essentially the agent ends or passes the information to the next thing in the process, so to say. And the way to do that is that we just use the parallel agent right here. We essentially give this a name, the sub agents, and a description. That's it. So we go here, and then here we can say post agent equals, and then we can say parallel agent just like this. Then we can go ahead and say sub agents, and we use the Instagram agent and the LinkedIn agent just like this. We can also use a description here as well, and we can also give this a name. So here we can say posts agent like this, right? Let's quickly format this. And here I can also say by using the LinkedIn and Instagram agents, right? Just to make sure that we give more context to the Google Agent Development Kit. All right, let's move forward. Finally, we need this posts merger agent. So let's create that as well. So we can go to our code, and here we can start writing the posts merger agent equals agent. And then what we want to do here is that we can use the model, and this is going to use the Google Gemini model. So here we can use the Google Gemini model just like this. We can give this the name post merger agent. We can also give this a description just like this. And finally, we can give this the instructions. Now the instruction is important. Here we say you are an AI assistant responsible for combining LinkedIn and Instagram reels into a structured output. Now, since this post merger agent is going to get an input from somewhere and has to give an output, it actually becomes essential that we put this information in the instruction. So here you can see that we are saying your primary task is to merge the post generated by LinkedIn and Instagram agents into a single output, clearly mentioning the platform for each post. Then we are saying input summaries. We are saying LinkedIn post essentially comes from LinkedIn post, and this should be the right variable, otherwise it's not going to work. So it should be LinkedIn post. Then we have Instagram reel script, and here it also says Instagram reel script. Make sure that the output key is exactly what we are using. So we are using the correct ones. Then I'm saying the output format should be something like this. We have the LinkedIn post, and then we have the Instagram post. Nice. Now that we have our post merger agent created as well, let's finally combine that into a root agent, which is supposed to be sequential agent. As we saw in our diagram as well, we need to pass the user input into this sequential agent, which will run the researcher agent first, then this parallel agent, and then the post merger agent. So we can do exactly the same here. So we can say here root underscore agent equals, we can use the sequential agent just like this. Then we can give this the name social media agent. We can give this a description, doesn't really matter much, but the sub agent is important. So here we should pass in the same order: research agent, posts agent, and post merger agent. Now the post agent here, as we know, is the parallel agent. So it's important that we use this one as the second element here. All right, now that we have sub agents here as well. Let's finally format this and save this. And now I'm going to quickly save this. Now let's quickly go to our folder and run ADK web. Now this is the first time that we are running this, so expect this to fail as always. So I'm going to go to my browser here, and here you can see that in the list we have all 3 agents here. So we have marketing campaign, tools, and multimodal. We're going to go to multimodal here, and we can actually leave the token streaming disabled, and let's ask it to create a post. So we are going to say create a post about 5 architecture patterns in JavaScript for developers. And let's see what this does. Alrighty, we're gonna go quickly to our console to see if there were any errors. Well, we can see there were some errors. Input should be a valid string, it says. And I can see that here it says LiteLLM model OS environment get Open AI model. But it seems like there's an issue here. Well, I think the problem could be I might have not saved all my files, which I did now. So let's try this again. So I'm gonna quickly run ADK web again. I'll go to my browser, copy this again, refresh, and then let's try this again. I'm gonna go to my console here, and now here it says type missing. So we missed a property, and it's talking about the research agent. So let's have a quick look. If we go to our model here, you can see that we missed a property here, and that is providing the name. So we need to say research agent here and no spaces in here. So let's quickly save this. Let's make sure that others have them as well. So LinkedIn agent has a name, Instagram agent also has a name, and the post agent also has a name. Finally, the post merge agent also has a name. Good. So we're gonna quickly save them and restart the ADK. As I said, it's really rare that you try something for the first time and it actually works. So I'm gonna refresh this, paste this again, and let's see now. If I go to my console, you can see that things are fine. So if I go back here, we should be seeing some responses in just a bit. All right, so here you can see that we got the first thing here. If we open it, you can see that this went to the research agent, and it should have actually gone to the Google search as well. So if we look at the first event here, this is what it said. Okay, I'll create a social media post about 5 architectural patterns, etc. Then it did the research. Finally, it created a draft social media post for us, gave us a few options. This particular output came from the research agent, as you can see. Afterwards, we have the second one, which is this one. And this one is the Instagram Reels agent. You can also see that the post agent is a parallel agent that runs both the LinkedIn post and the Instagram Reels. So from the Instagram one, here we have a script. We have a hook here. We also have the rapid fire section, etc. It gave us some points, call to action, and then the visual mic drop transition as well. Nice. Then it also created a LinkedIn post for us. So if I click here, you can see this is the LinkedIn post generator. I wish there was a nice way to actually scroll around. It seems like, yeah, there could be, or maybe not. But essentially here is our LinkedIn post agent. So this one gave the output of the LinkedIn post agent. Finally, we were supposed to also see the post merger agent, but we failed because we have an error that says variable not found LinkedIn post. So we made a mistake. If you go back to our code, we should be able to find where we are using LinkedIn post. So here, LinkedIn underscore post, and here we are. As I said, it's really important that we have the keys correctly. So here, it's not this, it's actually the capital I that we should be using. So I'm going to quickly save this. Let's go back. Let's restart the ADK. And finally, I'm going to go to my browser, quickly copy this, refresh, and then I can essentially paste this and also enable token streaming as well. Let's see what happens. So now it's creating this draft post for us as well. Good. One of the important things when you're actually running the token streaming is when it comes to token streaming and running parallel agents, since all the events are popping up together, it actually sometimes mixes the output. So that's why when you're actually testing it out, you may not want to run this like this. You may just want to run it without token streaming. So we're going to try it without the token streaming. So I'm going to quickly copy this, refresh, and then paste it. And by the way, that actually confused me for a while. Like, what's happening? Like, why are these models generating weird stuff for me? But now I understand. So here you can see that we have a bunch of outputs from different models. So the first one, we essentially went with the research agent that used the Google search in this case. Then the second one came up with the output. So if you look at the content right here, you can see that here it says, here's the social media post draft, which essentially can be seen right here. So we got this output and then this output from the same model. And as you can see here, both of them are based on the search topics just like this. So we also have the references here as well. Then we have gotten the output of the LinkedIn post, I assume. Yeah, exactly. So this is LinkedIn post. Then we got the Instagram Reel script with the hook, with the scenes, with the call to action, everything embedded here. And finally, we have the posts merger. So if I click this guy and go at the top, you can see that this was our posts merger agent that gave us this output. So here we have in the format that we desired. So we have the LinkedIn post, which is just like this. Then we have the Instagram post, which is just like this. And that's crazy. We have an agentic team right here that actually works as we intended by just combining different sort of agents. We have a sequential agent, parallel agent, and we are not only using Google Gemini, we are also using using Open AI and Claude for our use case as well. Super nice. So to summarize, this is what we were able to build today in this particular video. And I would encourage you to also design your system like this before you actually start implementing it, because this opens the doors for what's possible, but then also makes it clear to you how you should approach your code as well. Well, with that said, we are at the end of this video. This was super interesting for me to work on. And while this is super cool, sometimes we don't really want random outputs on our screen. Sometimes we want structured output in the response, which means that I want a specific kind of JSON as a response after all of my agents are done. And that is exactly what we are going to cover in the next video. If you like this series, I really want to know that. So please comment and tell me, how do you like this video? Do you want some different examples for me to cover? Or if you hate this video, I don't know why you would do that at all. But also, if you are building any agents yourself, make sure to leave them in the comments so people can actually try them out, especially if you have images or diagrams for those. With that said, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified for the next videos, and share the videos. That really helps the channel grow. As always, happy coding. I'm going to see you in the next one.